go, back at it. All right, so now I've had this on here for about 5 minutes, just on the burner running, and so I'm just going to give it a quick shake. All right, bring that sweating these onions down. So what that's doing right now is we're just sweating these onions. We want to sweat them out, get some of that juices, the natural juices to come out. We're pushing them out. Now, the thing is, the tricks about all of this is caramelizing onions is getting it to that right color where it is allowing the color to build up, but we don't want to burn. Excuse my bangings. There is a fine line between caramelization and burn. So, right now is where I'm going to start to pick up a little bit of color. So, you can hear, I think you can hear, probably, that crackle's getting more depth to it. The noises that you hear in the pan is the juices coming out of the onions hitting the bottom of the pan, and then the caramelization of those sugars. The natural sugar from the onion. Okay, here we go. We're going to start getting something going on. Now again, I have not added any seasoning at all. The reason is because what I want to do is develop color on the onions, and then I'll salt it and pepper it. The salt will bring out a little bit more of that natural juices from the onions, which will give me a little bit more moisture in the pan, and that'll finish off and give us the remainder of the cook. Because we're going to caramelize, we want color, but we also want them to be soft and tender all the way through, almost breakable just by the juice. Okay, you can see the colors coming along. Sure, yeah, you can kind of see in the back of the pan. See the back of the pan starting to build up a little bit of color. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick shake. Okay, and I also want to make sure, this is where you want to make sure that your pan is centered on your burner. Sometimes we as chefs and cooks, we move it around a little bit, and then it gets a little bit unevenly seared or cooked. So that's part of the problem. If you're not paying attention, it's I had it here for quite some time. I'm trying to get that area. Now I just need to get it into the sides and get this. So once I develop a little bit of more of a brown hue to it, then we will go ahead and add our salt and carry on. So okay, and the trick to flip is, as you can see, I am doing the saute motion, which in French, saute means to jump the pan. So that is what we're doing, to jump. To jump is what it means. So that's what you do. And so that takes a little time and technique and skill to learn how to do those tricks and tips. But one of the ideas one of the things we teach is we teach you to try to do it at home. Do rice. Put the rice in the pan and try to keep that rice inside the pan with the flip. It's all about the wrist. You can flip, flip, flip. Okay, now you can see I've developed a little bit more of the color on the pan, the bottom of the pan. So what I'm doing there, what that is that's the fond, not Fonz. Fonzarelli he rides a motorcycle, I do too. That's a different guy. Fond. To be fond of it, and also they refer to fond. In England, they call it dubbins. Maybe that's where scrub-a-dub-dub comes from. Not sure. Moving on. Okay, so you can see how I have gotten a lot of color building. Now, since I've gotten that color building, now is the time that I'm going to go ahead and add a little sprinkle of salt and pepper. I'm going to start with the black pepper, and I'm going to sprinkle in approximately half a teaspoon or so. And then with the salt, I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons. There's one and there's two, right? A little shake. Okay, and that's just kosher salt and black pepper. Now, what you can see, and now you'll hear it too, is that it'll start to give and pull more moisture out of the onions and get that deeper, darker brown going. Now you also want to turn your temperature down. This is where it's really important, because this is where it becomes the fine line between burning and caramelization. So you can see I've turned my temperature down. We were in a higher area around there. Now we're going to be down in this area here. Really, really super mid-low. Mid-low. And at some point, we'll turn it all the way down to super, super low. So we can get that to go nice and slow. Slow and low is the tempo, right? That's what they say. Okay, so I'm gonna let that ride just like that. Okay, can you see that? Yeah? All right, there's some color. We got some of that color going on. All right, nice and going. Oh, it smells delicious in here. I also got a pork roast in the oven. Here, let me take a look at you, see what you think about that. Hey, hi, how are you? How you doing? Come along. Come along with me. Come along with me and see what we have here. See, we have this nice beautiful pork roast working in the oven. That's going to be for our party too. So, hi, how are you? How you doing? Back up here to our onion bill. All right. Now, y'all just went on a nice little fun trip with something that may come on the market soon. This is my GeoPod, also known as Ghetto Pod, but that's okay because we do what we do here at Kitchen Tutor. My job is to teach you. I'm not going to have the finest items in the world because you know what? Neither do you. So we make do with what we got. All right. So I'm going to move. There we are, right back into our frame. Hope you enjoyed your time in the oven. So that's a pork roast. It's a pork shoulder, boneless pork shoulder that I rubbed with a special rub, my KS23. And we rubbed that with that and put that in the oven. It's been going for about 3 hours now. No, 2 hours, roughly 2 hours at 250 degrees. I started at 325 for 45 minutes and then I turned it down to 250 and I'm going to let that, that's about a 10-pound boneless shoulder. And I'm going to let that boneless shoulder roast slow and low, probably about 10 hours. So, I'll keep you guys posted on that as it comes about. But here we go with our onions, keep moving on them. You can see I'm still at the same temperature on the burner. Now as I turn it and spin it around, here we go. Here I'm going to give you a quick shake. Okay, the shaking's good, right? That saute motion is what it's all about. All right, so here we go. I like to use this pan because this pan gives me a lot of room. Always make sure that your pan is going to be big enough for you to handle what needs to be done. So we started off with being a little cramped, but that's okay because I know that it was all going to render or cook down to this nice place where it is, and it's perfect in this size of pan. Any bigger and I wouldn't have enough surface space to caramelize and sweat while it caramelizes, which is tenderizing those onions. And also, if it was too small, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. We wouldn't be caramelizing. It would just be wet, sweat, white onions. White onions are fine though, if that's what you're looking for, but we're not. Okay, we're gonna keep working on that, and I'll be back.